The most dangerous people you'll ever meet aren't criminals or con artists. They're not even people who wish you harm. The most dangerous people will hurt you and themselves for absolutely no reason at all. We spend enormous energy protecting ourselves from bad people. We lock our doors against thieves, watch for manipulation, and build entire systems to catch liars and cheaters. But there's a threat we almost never prepare for. An economist named Carlo Cipolla figured this out decades ago, and he created a framework that explains why some people cause chaos everywhere they go. Once you understand it, you'll see it everywhere, and you'll finally have a name for what's been frustrating you your entire life. Carlo Cipolla wasn't some bitter cynic writing angry blog posts. He was an economic historian at UC Berkeley, a respected academic who spent his career studying how societies function. In 1976, he published a short essay that became legendary among economists, technologists, and anyone who's ever wondered why smart organizations make dumb decisions. The essay was called The Basic Laws of Human Stupidity. It sounds like satire and reads like comedy. But underneath the dry humor, there's a mathematical framework that's uncomfortably accurate. Surely malicious people are worse. Surely someone actively trying to hurt you is more dangerous than someone who's just clueless. Cipolla spent most of his essay explaining why that intuition is exactly backwards. But to understand why, you need to see the graph that makes it all click. Cipolla created a simple coordinate system. Picture two axes crossing in the middle. The horizontal axis measures benefits to yourself. Move right, you gain. Move left, you lose. The vertical axis measures benefits to others. Move up, they gain. Move down, they lose. Every action you take in life lands somewhere on this graph. Help a friend move apartments and enjoy the pizza afterward? That's upper right. Everyone wins. Steal someone's parking spot? That's lower right. You gain, they lose. Let someone cut in front of you because you're too tired to object? Upper left. They gain, you lose. Now here's what Cipolla noticed. People don't scatter randomly across this graph. They cluster. Over time, through repeated actions, each person develops a pattern. They tend to operate in one region more than others. This creates 4 quadrants, 4 fundamental types of human behavior. And while nobody lives permanently in one quadrant, everyone has a home base, a default mode they return to under pressure. The upper right produces intelligent behavior. The lower right produces bandit behavior. The upper left produces helpless behavior. And the lower left, that's where stupidity lives. Understanding what each quadrant is not is crucial to understanding what stupidity actually is. The upper right quadrant is where everyone wants to be. This is intelligent behavior, and it has nothing to do with IQ tests or academic credentials. Intelligent behavior in Cipolla's framework means actions that benefit both yourself and others. Think about what this looks like in practice. The entrepreneur who builds a company that makes money while employing people and solving real problems. The friend who gives advice that actually helps you while strengthening your relationship. The negotiator who finds deals where both sides walk away satisfied. Intelligent people grow the pie instead of fighting over slices. They look for win-win scenarios because they understand something fundamental. In most of life, you're playing repeated games. The people you help today might help you tomorrow. The trust you build compounds over time. Zero-sum thinking leaves value on the table. Societies thrive when this quadrant dominates. When enough people consistently create mutual benefit, wealth increases, trust deepens, institutions function, and progress happens. Here's the uncomfortable truth, though. Nobody lives here permanently. I'd love to tell you I operate in this quadrant consistently, but the reality is messier. We all have moments of selfishness, moments of self-sacrifice, and yes, moments of pure stupidity. The goal isn't perfection. It's spending more time here than in the other 3 zones. Now consider someone who's much easier to understand and almost refreshing by comparison. The lower right quadrant belongs to the bandit, the person who gains at your expense. They take from you to benefit themselves. You know these people. The con artist who runs a scam, the corrupt official who takes bribes, the colleague who steals credit for your work, the company that profits by deceiving customers. Bandits are everywhere, and we spend enormous energy trying to stop them. But here's what Cipolla noticed, and it's counterintuitive. Bandits are actually manageable. They're predictable. They have a business model. Think about it. A bandit follows self-interest. You can model their behavior because they're trying to maximize their gains. You can negotiate with them because they want something from you. You can create deterrence because they respond to incentives, raise the cost of crime, and bandits commit less crime. Offer them a better deal, and they might take it. Some bandits are almost intelligent. They're in that zone where their gains slightly exceed the losses they cause. They're still taking from you, but they're creating some value along the way. The ruthless businessman who builds a real product while exploiting workers. The politician who actually delivers on some promises while enriching themselves. Bandits are bad, but they make sense. There's a logic you can work with. That's almost comforting compared to what comes next. The upper left quadrant is trickier. This is helpless behavior, where someone benefits others at their own expense. These are the martyrs, the pushovers, the people pleasers. The friend who always picks up the check even though they can't afford it. The employee who works overtime without compensation because they don't want to cause trouble. The parent who sacrifices everything for children who never learn to be independent. Helpless people seem harmless, and many of them are genuinely kind. They're not trying to exploit anyone. They're just constitutionally unable to advocate for themselves. But here's where it gets complicated. Helpless people enable the other quadrants. They let bandits exploit them without consequence. They provide cover for stupid people to continue their chaos. They don't create sustainable systems because they give without boundaries. If you've ever said yes when you should have said no, just to avoid conflict, you've visited this quadrant. Most of us have. It feels virtuous in the moment, like you're being the bigger person. But chronic helplessness creates problems. It teaches others that exploitation works. It removes feedback signals that might correct bad behavior. The helpless person isn't dangerous in the way we usually think about danger. But they're not neutral either. They're often the grease that helps stupidity slide through unchallenged. Now we reach the quadrant that Cipolla dedicated most of his essay to, the one that should worry you the most. The lower left quadrant is the home of stupidity. This is the zone where someone's actions cause losses to others while also causing losses to themselves. Read that again. Losses to others and losses to themselves. This is what makes stupidity unique and terrifying. There's no rational self-interest explaining the behavior. A bandit at least benefits from what they do. A stupid person doesn't. They harm you and harm themselves in the same action. Think about the coworker who starts a workplace conflict that gets everyone fired, including themselves. The driver who causes an accident while texting, injuring passengers in both cars. The person who shares information that damages their own reputation, while also hurting people they supposedly care about. The stupid action doesn't make sense from any angle. You can't find the logic because there isn't any. It's not ignorance, because ignorance can be fixed with information. It's not malice, because malice at least benefits the person being malicious. Stupidity is pure destruction without purpose. And here's the detail that should unsettle you. Stupid people don't know they're being stupid. They often feel justified. They frequently blame others for the consequences of their own actions. They may be articulate, confident, and completely convinced they're doing the right thing. Intelligence and stupidity, as Cipolla defined them, exist on different axes. You can have a high IQ and consistently produce stupid outcomes. You can have limited education and reliably create win-win situations. The quadrant you occupy is about what you do, not what you think you are. Now we arrive at Cipolla's most disturbing insight. Stupid people are more dangerous than bandits. This seems wrong. We have entire systems designed to stop bad people. Police forces, courts, contracts, locks, security systems. We treat malice as the primary threat. But Cipolla argued we have it backwards. And here's why. Bandits are predictable. They follow self-interest. You can build models of bandit behavior because they're optimizing for personal gain. When you understand what someone wants, you can anticipate their moves. Stupid people are unpredictable. They don't follow self-interest because their actions harm themselves too. There's no optimization to model. Want to level up your people skills? Join our community on YouTube or on my Patreon for exclusive scripts, early access, and connection with people who get the social struggle. Links below. Let's master human interaction together. They can attack at any moment, from any direction, for reasons that make sense to no one. You can negotiate with evil. A bandit wants something, and that gives you leverage. Offer them a better deal than crime provides, and many will take it. Create consequences that exceed the rewards, and they'll recalculate. Now try negotiating with someone who doesn't know what they want. Try creating incentives for someone who isn't optimizing for anything. The usual tools don't work. Malice has natural limits. Self-preservation creates boundaries on bandit behavior. Most criminals don't want to get caught. Most exploiters want to maintain the systems they exploit. There's a ceiling on the damage because excessive destruction would harm the bandit too. Stupidity has no such limits. Since the stupid person isn't protecting themselves, there's no self-preservation brake on their behavior. They'll keep going long after a rational actor would stop. You can build defenses against crime, but what's the defense against random chaos? Cipolla identified the behavior. Modern psychology explains why it happens. Our brains evolved to make fast decisions with limited information. This was useful when we needed to spot predators or find food. It's less useful when we're navigating complex organizations and long-term consequences. The shortcuts that kept our ancestors alive now generate systematic errors. These are cognitive biases, and they turn ordinary people into temporary residents of the stupid quadrant. Consider the Dunning-Kruger effect. People with low competence in an area consistently overestimate their abilities, while experts tend to underestimate theirs. The person least qualified to make a decision is often the most confident about making it. And confidence is persuasive. It wins arguments and gets people promoted. Consider confirmation bias. We seek out information that supports what we already believe and dismiss evidence that contradicts it. Once we've decided something, we unconsciously filter reality to confirm our rightness. We can build elaborate justifications for decisions that serve no one. Consider overconfidence bias. We're systematically too certain about our judgments. Studies show experts' confidence regularly exceeds their accuracy. CEOs pursue mergers that destroy value while feeling certain they'll succeed. Investors hold losing positions while sure that they're right, and the market is wrong. These biases don't discriminate. Education doesn't prevent them. PhD holders fall for the same traps as everyone else. Intelligence, in the IQ sense, provides no immunity. Biases hit hardest under stress, fatigue, and time pressure. Exactly when we most need clear thinking. Our shortcuts are most likely to fail. There's actually a bias called the bias blind spot, the belief that other people have biases but you don't. I definitely had that one. Probably still do. Individual biases are bad enough, but modern systems multiply their effects. Groupthink suppresses dissent in teams. When everyone wants harmony, nobody points out the obvious problems. The group converges on decisions that individual members privately doubt. Meetings end with unanimous agreement on plans that fail spectacularly. Conformity bias makes us follow crowds against our own judgment. When everyone seems to agree, we assume they know something we don't. We stay silent. We go along. We add our weight to mistakes that compound. Authority bias leads us to trust experts and leaders beyond their actual competence. The CEO's opinion carries weight because they're the CEO, not because they're right about this particular question. We defer when we should challenge. Echo chambers, especially on social media, feed us what we already believe. Algorithms optimize for engagement, not wisdom. Content that confirms our existing views gets shown more. Content that challenges us disappears. We end up in bubbles where our worst ideas never meet resistance. Power amplifies everything. One stupid person in a position of authority causes more damage than 1,000 stupid individuals without influence. The decisions of a single overconfident executive ripple through organizations. A leader who inhabits the stupid quadrant can drag entire institutions with them. We've built systems to stop bad people. Courts, regulations, oversight. We've built almost nothing to stop stupid ones. Cipolla's final argument was about civilization itself. Every society has all four types. There will always be intelligent people creating value, bandits trying to extract it, helpless people enabling both, and stupid people generating random destruction. The question isn't whether stupid people exist, it's how many there are, and how much influence they have. Societies thrive when the intelligent quadrant dominates. When enough people consistently create mutual benefit, the total amount of wealth, trust, and capability grows. Each intelligent action adds to collective welfare. The gains compound. Societies decline when the stupid quadrant expands. Each stupid action subtracts from collective welfare. Unlike bandits who redistribute wealth from victims to themselves, stupid people destroy it outright. The pie shrinks. Historical pattern after historical pattern shows the same trajectory. Thriving civilizations become successful, and success makes them tolerant. Tolerance extends to stupidity. Stupid people gain influence, and decline follows. The destruction is invisible at first. A few bad decisions here, Some pointless conflicts there. The system absorbs the damage, but the costs accumulate. Trust erodes. Institutions weaken. Competent people leave or stop trying. Then suddenly the damage is everywhere. Democracies face particular vulnerability. Everyone gets a voice, and everyone's vote counts equally. This is a feature, not a bug, for protecting against tyranny. But it provides no special protection against stupidity. You cannot vote your way out of collective foolishness. So how do you actually identify stupid behavior when you encounter it? The signature is distinctive. Look for situations where everyone ends up worse off and no one can clearly explain why. If you trace back through a chain of events and find a decision point where every party lost, including the person who made the decision, you've likely found stupidity. Watch for confident certainty paired with consistently bad outcomes. The person who's always sure and always wrong isn't unlucky. They're operating from the lower left quadrant. Single instances might be mistakes, but patterns reveal something deeper. Pay attention when someone's actions harm themselves. This is the critical indicator. Bandits don't hurt themselves on purpose. If someone repeatedly makes choices that damage their own interests, you're not dealing with rational self-interest. Notice the inability to learn from identical past mistakes. Intelligent people adjust after failures. Stupid people recreate the same disasters in new contexts. They have explanations for why this time is different, but it never is. Here's a tricky part. Stupid people can sound articulate. They can hold impressive credentials. They can speak with authority on topics where their track record is consistently negative. Intelligence and stupidity live on different axes. Don't let presentation distract you from outcomes. Apply the meeting test. Does this person make group decisions better or worse? Some people, regardless of their individual intelligence, reliably lower the quality of any room they're in. Every contribution muddies the waters, and every opinion adds confusion. That's not bad luck. And yes, you need to apply this test to yourself, especially to yourself. Recognition is step 1, and defense is step 2. First and most important, seek diverse perspectives before significant decisions. Stupidity often comes from blind spots we can't see on our own. Different viewpoints catch different errors. Make it a practice to ask people who disagree with you to find the holes in your reasoning. Slow down decisions under stress. That's precisely when cognitive biases hit hardest. If you feel rushed, pressured, or emotional, that's the signal to pause, not accelerate. The urgent decision that can't wait one day often turns out to be the one most worth waiting on. Build devil's advocate roles into teams. Assign someone to argue the opposite position. Make disagreements safe and expected. The ideas that can't survive friendly challenge won't survive reality. Distance yourself from consistent lose-lose producers. You cannot fix a stupid person. This isn't cynicism, it's resource management. Your time and energy are limited, and spending them trying to reform someone who reliably destroys value for everyone, including themselves, is itself a kind of stupidity. Run the humility check before major choices. Ask yourself clearly, who benefits from what I'm about to do? If you can't articulate a clear answer, if you can't explain who gains and how, pause. The inability to identify beneficiaries is a warning sign. Most importantly, assume you're susceptible. The moment you believe you're immune to stupidity is the moment you become most vulnerable. The bias blind spot is real. You have it, I have it, and everyone who's certain they don't is proving it. Debiasing training helps. Studies show that structured approaches, like medical checklists, reduce errors from cognitive shortcuts. Building systematic checks into your decision process catches mistakes before they compound. You can't negotiate with stupidity, but you can minimize your proximity to it. And you can build habits that catch your own stupid moments before they cause damage. Cipolla's framework isn't cynicism, it's clarity. When you stop expecting bandits to be stupid and stupid people to be bandits, the world makes more sense. Different problems require different responses. You negotiate with self-interested actors. You contain random chaos producers. Conflating the two leads to strategies that fail. Knowing the quadrants helps you navigate frustration. That colleague who seems to sabotage everything isn't necessarily malicious. They might genuinely not see the damage they cause. That doesn't make them less destructive, but it shifts your approach. You stop waiting for them to act rationally, and you start building around them. The goal isn't to judge everyone you meet. It's to spend more time in the intelligent quadrant yourself. Create win-win outcomes where you can. Look for actions that benefit you and others simultaneously. This sounds obvious, but requires constant vigilance. Our defaults pull us toward the other quadrants. Accept that you'll visit those other quadrants. Everyone does. You'll have moments of selfishness, moments of excessive self-sacrifice, and yes, moments of pure stupidity where you harm yourself and others for reasons you can't quite explain afterward. When you catch yourself in those quadrants, don't rationalize. Recognize it and adjust. The people who inhabit the lower left permanently are the ones who never question whether they belong there. Societies need more people aware of this framework. Not to become cynical, but to become clearer. Critical thinking is the countermeasure. The ability to ask who benefits, to trace consequences, to check your own reasoning against reality. This is the antibody. Progress requires intelligent actions outnumbering stupid ones. You can't control what everyone else does, but you can control your own contributions. Your small wins toward mutual benefit compound over time. Your decisions to avoid lose-lose situations add up. You can't eliminate stupidity, not from the world, not entirely from yourself. But you can understand it, spot it, avoid enabling it, and choose, consciously and repeatedly, not to add to it. That's not nothing. That might be everything. Learn something new? Hit that like button, share it with others, tap subscribe, and stick around for more. Got thoughts? I'd love to hear them in the comments.